Humans need to utilize agriculture to produce food in the most environmentally sustainable way possible. Food and water are the most important possessions to the human race for the ultimate survival, and the production of food is affecting the planet. Eating habits inevitably influence the sustainability of the planet. Land and water resources are under undeniable stress from not only meat production, but all production of food. The proper management of these resources needs to be addressed to help curb the problems that are arising. Problems such as deforestation to create more land for agriculture, the lack of sufficient water to meet demand, soil degradation from over-farming, overfishing of the oceans, and fertilizer and manure pollution are only a few of a sizable list. Climate change is one of the well talked about environmental sustainability issues facing the Earth, and the food industry is one of the major contributors to carbon emissions and pollution. Yet production must increase to supply the demand for the population increase. It is projected that the production of foods will increase by 60% heading towards 2050, so this increase will then create a need for more land, more water, and in turn generate more pollution and carbon emissions. Now, it is estimated that agriculture uses 30% of the Earth's land surface and 70% of the water that is drawn from streams, lakes, and aquifers. The consumption of meat in the developed world is currently around 75 kilos per person per year, and dairy is around 200 kilograms per person per year. Now, in the 2007-2008 financial year, around 250 million tons of meat was produced for food, while 1,000 million tons of grain was produced to feed livestock. Now, these numbers alone demonstrate that a substantial amount of resources is needed to produce meat to eat. The animal-based agriculture industry accounts for close to 20% of greenhouse gas emissions, which is more than the entire transportation services in the world. Now, this is where veganism comes into the fray. Now, for a vegan-based diet, land and water use is significantly lower, and the production of food is noticeably larger using the same amount of resources compared to a meat-based diet. For example, the amount of land and water needed to produce 1 kilo of beef can yield 160 kilograms of potatoes, or 1 acre of land can produce 250 pounds of beef or 50,000 pounds of tomatoes. Now, the carbon emissions also differ considerably too, with a heavy meat eater contributing to around 16 pounds of carbon emissions daily, whilst a vegan only 6.5. If a person chose a vegan diet, they would reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 1.5 tons per year. Now, these statistics show once again that the meat production industry is a major contributor to environmental unsustainability. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations states that veganism is the most environmentally sustainable way of eating, with less impact on water, land, and carbon emissions than any other diet containing even the smallest amount of meat and dairy. Food and water are necessities that humans need to grow mentally and physically. But taking care of this planet should be encased in human consciousness so the resources are not corrupted or, even worse, destroyed. A vegan diet consisting of plant-based foods and no animal products will help this world towards a more environmentally sustainable outcome. With the current rate of meat and dairy consumption set to rise, people need to act sooner rather than later to help decrease detrimental environmental impact.